There is truly only one way to manifest what you want, and that is through your consciousness. And I'm going to break down exactly how to do that in this video. I'm sure you've heard by now, or know, that everything you see in your life is a direct reflection and mirror image of what's in your consciousness. Your consciousness, which is your perception, and your I amness, is connected to all things that seemingly appear on the outside of you. There's no separation between you and everything you experience in your world. Without your consciousness, these seemingly other things would not be there. If you can wrap your mind around the fact that nothing exists but a direct reflection of your mind, a screenshot of the image in your mind, if you will, you can begin to come in tune with the internal experience to intentionally create the outer experience. The physical world can only reflect your mind. It isn't necessarily real unless you give it authority to be the only reality. In fact, what's in your mind is the only true reality, and your experience is a reflection of that. You may wonder why the things you want haven't shown up for you if all of this is true. The reason for this is that your mind is filled with many thoughts each day, approximately 70,000 of them in fact. So you may spend some time entertaining the reality that you prefer, and then have other thoughts that pull you back into a reality that you don't prefer. When we observe stimulus from our outer reality and take that in through our 5 physical senses, we collect information. That information is presented to us as evidence of what we previously thought and believed, because reality reflects these things back to us. If our attention remains on the outer information, we are creating a feedback loop that reinforces itself. We think the thoughts, the information from our physical world reinforces those thoughts, and then we think about that more, and so on. As this happens, we begin to develop beliefs about our outer reality. Those beliefs go something like this. I see this as my experience, so it must be true. If it weren't true, I wouldn't be experiencing it. As the subconscious mind receives more of this information from the outer reflection, it validates it as true, and then we automatically think, act, and feel in accordance with those beliefs, continuing to validate the reflection as our only true reality even further to ourselves. And this is why the cycle can seem somewhat impossible to change. However, it's not. The only reason you don't believe your new reality is true, the one that includes you as successfully manifesting your desires, is because it hasn't been validated to you by your outer experience through your physical senses. But when you take control of the internal process that creates your life the way it is now, everything between you and your desire will be eliminated, and a clear path will be created that brings you to the new experiences. The only belief you need to embrace in this particular moment is that if you can manifest in a way that appears to be unfavorable, then you have the absolute power to do it in a way that is favorable. The feedback loop becomes automatic, and it's only a feedback loop that needs to be altered. The trick here is to ignore the outer stimulus and completely turn your attention away from it. We deny it if we don't like it and embrace our power to change it until it becomes so. To completely change this, you have to find ways to saturate your mind with what you desire until it becomes your dominant way of thinking. As we embrace our new mindset and new state of being, we create actions that align with the type of person who gets to experience what is desired. So you must become this person who already has what you desire internally and remain loyal to that version of yourself and experience in your mind until it presents itself in manifested form. By accepting that you have your desire and living life as that person, you begin to change the reflection. As the new reflection begins to form, you will start to see sprinkles of evidence that it's adjusting according to your new thoughts and beliefs. When you see this evidence, you take conscious note of those things. Each piece of evidence gives you the opportunity to get excited about the adjustment that you've made internally and the power that you hold to do this. I always recommend looking for and gathering this type of evidence, as well as getting really excited about it, because this begins the process of a new feedback loop that relates to your desires, and that impresses your subconscious mind in the same way your previous outer reflection did. Just as the outer world gave you information through your 5 senses in that old reflection, it will begin to do the same regarding your new internal image. From there, things begin to flow in a very natural and effortless way, because your attention can now be placed on the physical reality of everything lining up with what's going on inside of you. This is what Neville Goddard taught so beautifully. Here's a quote from his book, The Power of Awareness. Remain faithful to the knowledge that your consciousness, your I amness, your awareness of being aware are the only reality. It is the rock on which all phenomena can be explained. There is no explanation outside of that. I know of no clear conception of phenomena save that consciousness is all, and all is consciousness. If there is darkness in my world, I created the darkness. If there is light and joy, I created the light and the joy. There is no one but this I amness that does all. You cannot find a cause outside of your own consciousness. Your world is a grand mirror constantly telling you who you are. These are not my words, they are the inspired words of men who discovered that consciousness is the only reality. Imagine, if you will, that everything is already created. Creation's complete. What you desire is already a truth and merely waiting for you to tune yourself into it. It's available once you surrender yourself to this truth. It doesn't need you to create it, it simply requires that you be loyal to it and it alone. It is you that becomes this version who already has the experience, rather than being the type of person who is trying to get it. So let go of trying to get it and embody having it. If you say to yourself that nothing's changing, the world will reflect that back to you. The physical world merely needs time to catch up with your thoughts and change the reflection once you have sufficiently and dominantly adjusted to the version of yourself who has what you desire. What's in your mind must be proof enough until that happens. If you are focusing on trying to change the physical reality and world, you will get more experiences of needing to change the physical reality and world. This is 100% an internal job. If you experience a lag of time in the physical reflection, here's how Neville Goddard describes that again in his book, The Power of Awareness. The time it takes your assumption to become fact, your desire to be fulfilled, is directly proportionate to the naturalness of your feeling of already being what you want to be, of already having what you desire. The fact that it does not feel natural to you to be what you imagine yourself to be is the secret of your failure. Regardless of your desire, regardless of how faithfully and intelligently you follow the law, if you do not feel natural about what you want to be, you will not be it. Once you've absorbed yourself repeatedly in this new version of you who has what they want, it will begin to take on these tones of feeling natural. Keep nurturing that until it does. In other words, if you haven't gotten to that state, keep persisting in the change until you do. This is often when people give up, and I highly encourage you to keep going at this stage. It's merely a saturation of your subconscious mind. Don't let anything in the outer reflection sway you. You may find it helpful to keep regarding the outer world as the illusion that must bend to your will. The world always reflects what's in your mind. Our inner suggestions and states are the greatest power there is. And a shift in perspective can change your entire life. If you have a consistent, clear, and powerful internal image in your mind, and hold it there without wavering to allow it time to strengthen, physical reality will adjust to match that. Place all of your attention inward, and fill your mind with the new reality where you already have what you wish to experience. Experience it on the inside first and dominantly, and it will express itself in the physical world. It's universal law.